Right, we need to talk about the summer for the last few minutes. And obviously, we are gearing up towards that now. We're seeing Liverpool linked to more and more players in the media. However, tentatively, we are seeing those links. And I know Dave Davis and Dr. Phil Barter are profiling a lot of them here on YouTube. You can go and see those shows. They're running through the stats. They're talking about the shape, where these players may fit into a slot system. They're covering all sorts of players at Liverpool.
Brilliant. Absolutely A1 content, guys. If you haven't checked it out, what are you waiting for? I'm telling you, if you guys have been following me for a number of years, you know I only recommend the best. And I'm telling you now, some of the content on offer these days, look, each to their own. But if you want proper, real analysis and content of the highest order, then go and check out some of the shows that is available on Anfield Index. You'll be absolutely mesmerized. Some of the pearls of wisdom coming from some of the contributors. So
yeah, some of them are professional analysts. This is what they do for a living. I mean, I was on one last week. I covered for Dave Davis with Dr. Phil Bartzer last week, and someone put in the comments, "Stop with the geeky stat chat." It's like literally that's what the show is.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, if you want some proper insights in terms of layman's just shouting and sort of screaming and spitting down camera lenses, then go and check out some of the content that's available on Anfield Index.
So summer 2025, Grizz, obviously we're seeing more contract talk. We're seeing Salah did an interview with Steve McManaman a couple of days ago, and it was very much a lot. He was asked about the contract, and he didn't do his usual. He didn't say we're still far away. He didn't say I've not spoken to the club yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here next season. He did sort of throw in a little line about if I stay in this country and chasing records and things like that. That did get mentioned. We've heard nothing from Trent's side at all either way. The James Pearce had put a piece out the other day saying that as far as he's concerned, still no decision is made from Alexander Arnold's side. So Liverpool have not dismissed the hope of him staying. The offer's there for him. And obviously he's probably speaking to Real Madrid and seeing what they're offering as well. Whether the decision's been made or not, I don't know. I know you've been bullish all along that you think all three of these players are staying. And as for Virgil van Dijk, again, the journalists' take is that this contract isn't yet done. That even though there's talk that it is done and it's sitting in a draw rating to be presented, and there's a psychological element that they don't want it done before Salah and they don't want it done before Trent, that contract is signed. Now, the mood music and the optics do suggest that Virgil is going to be staying, but that's not based on anything other than a hunch and what everyone's reading in the body language and in the wind music that we're seeing out there. Yeah. So that is the situation with Virgil. That is the three contracts. Where do you stand right now on what you're hearing and the people you're speaking to about these three contracts? What do you think is going to happen?
So I think, and I said to this Gags last time we brought it up, which was 2-3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, no one speaks about this anymore.
Yeah, no one speaks about it anymore. We've got bigger fish to fry, so to speak. I said to Gags, I said, what we've realized and what we've worked out through all the avenues that you speak of, people that you speak to, reliable journalists, pundits, ex-players, etc., podcasters, YouTubers, you name it. I've come to the conclusion that this is one of those rarest situations, Eddie, where no one knows. And this is brilliant. I love it. This is where, as I said, and I'll speak for myself. I won't speak about the brilliant journalists that cover Liverpool. We know we have the brilliant David Lynch on this channel as well on a regular basis. We know the brilliant James Pearce and probably the top journalist out there right now in terms of David Ornstein, who's come out and today said something as well. But what you gather from everyone is no one really knows. As you said, it's from what they're hearing is all three are in talks. Okay, Virgil and Salah, it's very open that they want to stay. And so therefore, based on that, people are assuming and assessing the situation around the whole chitter-chatter and saying they'll end up staying. They just want the best deal for them. Now, we know if we move away from the players and agents side of things, we know we've probably brought back the biggest negotiator in Michael Edwards in these type of scenarios. And we know we've brought him back for this very these type of scenarios where mega deals need to be sorted. And we know he's a hard taskmaster. We know his history in terms of what he likes giving out to a certain age group of player and what he doesn't. So, as I said to Gags, I think it's a fruitless task, even giving an opinion on this. I think we sit back, enjoy, cherish what we're watching on the pitch, and trust the process. Now, some may hate that sentence, some may hate that cliche, but unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about it apart from either shout about it, cry about it, moan about it, or just cherish the moment and enjoy Liverpool Football Club for what it's doing on the pitch, and let the people of power who can make and influence these type of decisions, i.e. the players, agents, and the owners, make the decision, and then we can assess it and give our opinions on what we think of the state of play. But a long-winded answer to your question, I'm personally still adamant and hopeful that all three sign, and I think it will top off a magnificent, magnificent season.
Yeah, I mean that's very well put, and I can't really argue with any of it. It's that you should be enjoying this. You know, I mean, Liverpool fans have been through so many doldrums over the last sort of 20, 30 years, and it's great that we're in this position. So we've just got to enjoy it. You know, what I mean, and what will be will be. We've had great players; they've all come and gone, and the club's still here, and the club's still thriving. So that's always going to be the case with this club, and that's all we can do is we trust this process. Like Grizz says, I know it's a cliche, but at the end of the day, everyone was raving when Michael Edwards returned to the club. And we've seen comments this week from Ian Graham in the media. Well, obviously, Ian Graham, who used to be Liverpool's science robot that basically helped with the recruitment. And he was saying that he was actually against renewing Mo Salah for his previous contract because of his age, because of the money that he wanted. So he's saying that this time, and he's glad he's not in the position, it'll be very, very difficult, a very, very difficult decision to have. Because obviously these guys are very confident in their ability to move on.
I think I'm certain if Mohamed Salah, I think I can safely say this on record. I'm certain if Mohamed Salah didn't have the season that he's having, I don't think he would be re-signing. I genuinely believe that. But I think he's left them with no option but to succumb to maybe not his full demands, but somewhere in the middle. And I think they come to an agreement. I think I personally believe Virgil is just a waiting game. That's just my personal opinion. And then the Trent one is obviously the mystery one, the mystery one. As you said, nothing has been said either positively or negatively from the player or his side. It's all from Real Madrid. And all we're hearing from the Liverpool side of things is through the reliable journalists that are still adamant that as far as they're hearing, as far as they know, as far as the people they speak to, there's not been a decision made to sell or buy or to stay or to go. All they know is Liverpool are in talks with him, which I believe should be a positive.
Yeah, I do get all that, but my sort of cynic in me feels that, and I'm whether I'm right or wrong to be the cynic, I'm going to be a cynic in this stage because I'm only basing it on what we've seen historically from players.
Absolutely.
Their prime in the last year of their contract, and this has happened before where people say, "Oh, they're still not decided. He's still unsure." All this sort of stuff, and the upshot is they usually go. You know what I mean? It doesn't often happen where a player in their peak years gets to the end of their contract, they're about to leave on a free transfer, and they've got that option, and then they turn around and sign a 5-6 year deal with the club. It just doesn't happen. Now,
what you said makes absolute logical sense, and that's what probably 95% of the fan base thinks as well. I can't argue with anything that you've said. It makes rational and logical sense, the scenario that we find ourselves in. But until anything is sort of announced, then let's
there was the thing, I don't know if you saw it, it was a Predator advert for Adidas that came out this weekend. Trent would usually be what inspired you, and he'd be Steven Gerrard wearing those Adidas boots and all this, and this time it was Zidane. It's like there's so many things that just, and there was obviously the stuff about what would you rather do in future and the Ballon d'Or and all this stuff. And I was in Madrid obviously a few months ago, and obviously you go near the Bernabeu, and obviously there's this big thing of Trent in white shirt and jeans, not Real Madrid, but white shirt jeans for a Spanish clothing outlet doing marketing materials.
Look, at this stage, at this stage, all, as you said, all these kind of subliminal messages that we may think that we are seeing are suggesting that, yeah, the decision is made and his head is in Madrid, etc., etc., etc. But let's wait and see.
Yeah,
Who
that's
knows?
all we can do. We
Who knows?
don't have any other
Yeah,
choice.
yeah.
So I suppose that forwards us on to the very last part. We'll only speak about this for a couple of minutes and let everyone go and enjoy their evening. But we've got the transfers, obviously, and Liverpool are being linked, as they always are, to players left, right, and centre to all sorts of positions. But do you think the club know now what's happening with these contracts? Because you just said there we don't know what's happening with Trent. But do you think the club know? Because obviously that's a massive part of their recruitment. And any journalist or anyone you speak to within the industry at this stage would tell you that summer deals are being discussed both internally and externally with agents and players, and with in some cases with the third party clubs, with the clubs that these players are at just now. So this process, we're told that transfers don't happen overnight. So a lot of that work has to be going on right now. It has to be. So
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it's not necessarily going to be Michael Edwards and what's the guy
Richard Hughes. Richard Hughes.
doing all of this work. They've got other guys in their team like what's the guy that used Julian Ward and these sort of guys. They've got people involved in all facets of the club in terms of recruitment. But if these conversations are going on, then how far are Liverpool negotiating with a potential Trent successor at right back? How far are they looking at who's going to play right wing next season if it's not going to be Mohamed Salah? How far are they looking at they're about to lose probably the Premier League's greatest ever centre-half is going to be out of contract? And how far are they along discussing his replacement? Are these conversations even happening? Or are they happening at, we don't need a ready-made because we think he's staying, so we need to get the next cab off the rank, if you like. You know what I mean? Obviously, the lad at Bournemouth, Dean Houston, he's being talked up a lot as a potential Virgil van Dijk successor, but you bring him in this summer, let's just use him as an example. You bring him in, where's he getting his starts? Because Kanate and Van Dijk, if he stays, are nailed on to be the first choice too. So where's Houston? Where's the sales message? Where's the pitch to a lad like that?
This is exactly why I think, or why I'm confident that the three major ones will get done eventually, because it will just leave too much to do. And we know that Liverpool in the past don't like too much to do unless they're forced to, like they were with the midfield revamp. They were kind of forced, right, in terms of players wanting to.
But given a golden goose with the Saudi thing as well, because that just escalates.
Exactly that. But what we also know is Michael Edwards does like to stamp his own authority, and that's why I think there will be a small turnover. When I say small, I think there will be. I think I can definitely see 5 out and a 4 in type scenario, and that's enough of a shake-up. You wouldn't want too much more than that, because that will probably upset the apple cart in terms of harmony, squad, rebuilding everything again, relationships all over the pitch. So I envisage 5 players leaving, sort of around the squad types. I don't envisage first teamers leaving right now. And why would you want to leave this club right now? But in terms of talking to others, I think we know Edwards, and from Edwards' time here, that he's the best of planners in terms of thinking ahead. We've been told, that they plan these 18 months in advance. So if that's the case, and if we trust the process, then there will be due diligence done on so many prospects, targets, you name them. I genuinely think there's loads of contingency plans. If player X was to leave, then these are the 3 or 4 options that we have, and we have spoken to their people. We don't always, what I always say to people that I speak to is, we don't always have to hear about it, guys. This fascination, obviously intrigue, and maybe I don't help the situation sometimes by revealing everything I have. But I know I have stopped. To be fair to you, I don't always tweet wherever I hear, like a bloody child in a sweet shop. I've stopped doing that, because I agree it can add to the hysteria, let's say. So I think we're in for and this is probably another show for another day. We've got loads of these shows lined up where we can assess transfers and speculation and anything that is out there in the link. So I think right now, let's kick back, get these few games out of the way. Let's get these guard of honors out of the way, and then we can really attack the transfer window, because it's exciting, right, Eddie? Because Slot hasn't even got his fingerprints on this team yet. So yeah, loads to talk about, loads to assess. But I think we've covered a huge amount today. I've really enjoyed it. I'm really hoping that, Gags has to fight for his place back in the team, son. You've put in a performance and a half.
I'm the Federico Chiesa. We'll always have Accrington standing.
The Federico Chiesa.
We'll always have Accrington standing.
I think you're the Endo. You're doing yourself a disservice. I think you're the Endo. I'm gonna tell Gags that you're the enforcer.
I'm just the cover guy these days. Whenever anyone needs a cover guy, I'm the guy that they phone. It seems.
Well, there you go, Endo. You are the new James Milner. So fantastic. Look, guys, I really hope you guys have enjoyed tonight's show. I thoroughly have enjoyed it. Time has flown. We tried to restrict an hour normally.
Almost 1,900 of you watching. So when we come off this show, me and Grizz are going to go and look at the YouTube, and we're going to see how many likes we got on this. You know what I mean? Because if there's 1,866 of you watching right now, so we're expecting to see a lot of likes. Please, please, please like. And if you don't subscribe to the YouTube channel, please do that. We do try and bring you as much content, and we do try and bring you this debate and opinion as much as we can, as well as all the statistical and factual stuff that Grizz was talking about earlier that goes on by industry-leading experts. These guys are pro people. They're qualified in the field of what they do. Me and Grizz are just coming on and giving our opinions as fans. That's all we do. You know what I mean? We're not qualified in all this metrics and stats and all that. But there are other shows because people love that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's all there as well. We try and cover the whole spectrum.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. We try to give our layman fans perspective, but we also have got pros in the industry that are giving their aspect and opinion as well. And guys, I'm pretty much more of a regular here than I'm on my own channel. I've had people messaging me, why haven't you put any content out? I'm back. Life is hectic, but we will get back. And people, by the way, a massive shout out to any Muslims partaking in Ramadan, which starts tomorrow evening, I believe, or Saturday, probably more likely Saturday. Yeah. So a massive shout out to everyone who's participating in that. I will be as well. And so therefore, we may have more content coming on Football Carnage as well. But if not, I will be back with Dave Davis on the weekend, of course. And we'll be back next week, no doubt. I think Gags is back next week. Am I right?
He should be back. He's only away for this week, so he should be back next week. So I'll be able to just watch you guys next week and add comments in like everyone else.
Excellent. Winter Soldier says, one question for Grizz. Do you believe now? Listen, if you don't believe now, there's no hope for you. There's absolutely no hope for you. And I'd like to think I believe now. But thank you very much for the comments. Thank you very much for the messages. Thank you very much for all your input, people. And I think it's time that, we really, really cherish these Reds.
Absolutely. And I'll echo what Grizz said to anyone about to go through Ramadan. Make the best effort you can and really enjoy it when your Eid comes. And I hope that you will have a wonderful time. It is one of those things that the dedication you have to this is incredible. It really is. And I think us that don't fast and don't have Ramadan, I don't think we have any clue of what suffering people go through for their beliefs. And it is to be respected. Absolutely. And I'll send my best wishes to you, Grizz, and to everyone else that's about to have that.
Appreciate it.
So until next time, everyone, thanks to Grizz for joining me. He rushed back through mad traffic to get here on time to do this one. We were only a few minutes late. We only had to delay 10 minutes. So thanks to Grizz for braving the traffic. I'm from the same part of the world as Grizz originally, so I know what the traffic can be like there. It's great up here in Scotland because you don't have any of that. We just have to cycle past the man with the horse and cart and ring our bell and say hi. You know what I mean? Next year, I believe we're getting running water and electricity. So it's all coming.
Wow, massive. Huge breaking news, guys.
The revolution is real, people. Until next time, up the Reds.